an interactive session. So I want you to get as much as you can possibly get out of this session. So please send your comments and questions into that chat box. I will be noticing and keeping an eye on them, but also Lisa will every now and then, and she'll say, Nerina, there's a question here, you know, and I'll answer that as we go through the session. I would also recommend that you have a notebook and pen with you, because throughout today's session, I'm going to be throwing out lots and lots of exercises and tips and techniques. And even though you're going to be sent the recording after the session, you know, I want the work to start right now, right now. And there's something quite magical that happens when we make this commitment to get a pen and to write it down and say, this, I'm going to start doing this right now. So I really, you know, I want you to get so much out of today's session. Write things down as they come up for you. I know that there are a number of you, over 300 people signed up for this webinar, which has been amazing. We hadn't expected that we would get so many people interested in this session. Just goes to show how quickly things are changing. So we had to get another platform set up soon. So apologies in advance if sometimes things are a little bit clunky and they don't go as smoothly, because we're getting used to the technology, but we're going to do our best to keep this seamless for you. And I can just promise you that the content will be good as well. It's just what you need at the moment. So I want to hear from you. I want to ask you a question before we get right into it. How are you feeling right now? I mean, I'm asking this because I want to hear from you. I also want to know that I'm not alone on this webinar. I want to feel, a number of you are here, almost 100 so far have joined the session. Can you just let me know how you are feeling right now? I'm just going to tell you, I'm feeling a bit nervous right now, but if you can just put your comment, your word, just send one word, because some of you are raising your hands. So what I want you to do is just to send your one word right into this chat box, right into the chat box. So one person has done that so far, and they've said they're feeling a bit anxious. Anybody else? Tired. Lots of people saying tired. Come on, what about the rest of you? Find that chat box and tell me how you're feeling. How are you feeling right now? So I know that a number of you are raising your hands, so you really need to be locating that chat box and putting that one word, stir crazy. Yup, interested? Thank you. I'm glad you are. Amazing. You know, this is what I want you to, yeah, absolutely. So we've got somebody feeling overwhelmed. I know what that feels like. And at the moment, every day kind of feels different. So what I'd like us all to do right now, before we get into the meat of this session, is to consider this. We sleep when we feel safe. You know, this is an evolutionary survival link mechanism here. You know, nature has designed us so that we only sleep when we feel safe. And we're going to be talking about the nervous system today and how to calm the nervous system so that you can sleep. But, you know, if you're feeling anxious and overwhelmed or even dissociated or numbed out, you're on some level not feeling safe. And in order to sleep at night, we need to feel safe. And actually, if I had to get into bed right now and try to sleep, I probably wouldn't sleep that well. My fingertips right now are a little bit cold, and the tips of my toes are feeling a little bit buzzy and fizzy. That's telling me that my sympathetic nervous system, which is involved in adrenaline and fight or flight and fighting threat. Now, I'm not feeling afraid, but I'm feeling quite excited by this session. So my nervous system is geared up and ready for action. So what I'm going to invite us to do right now, before we start, is one technique which you want to be doing regularly as you go about your day anyway. But right now, let's just feel our feet on the ground. And I'm doing this with you right now. So can you let me know if you're doing this as well? So put your feet on the ground right now, press down. Hopefully, you know, you've got bare feet at the moment. So press down with your feet on the ground right now. Feel your feet on the ground. Relax your feet and let them just kind of splat onto the ground. Rub your hands together, your palms, and shake them out. This is a really good one for those of you who said you were feeling a bit tired. Rub the palms together, shake them out, come back into the body, feel your body, feel that sensation in the palms of your hands and maybe a little bit of tingling. Drop your palms into your lap, onto your legs, rub your thighs, rub your arms, feel your body. Let's be here and now and feel the body. And the more you can do this as you go about your day, the more you'll create a safe container, and the greater the chances are that you'll be able to sleep tonight. So we've already got one tip that's going to help you sleep. The more you can re-enter your body as you go through the day, instead of going up into your head and into anxiety and worry, the better you're going to sleep. So this is who I am, in case you don't know me. I've spent 25 years helping people to sleep, longer than that. If you think my own personal struggles with sleep, I've spent over 30 odd years working on my own sleep. And at the moment, I'm sleeping pretty well. I am waking in the early hours and I'm putting myself back to sleep pretty quickly. And I'm going to show you how to do that as we go through the session, when we get into the toolkit. So I'm going to share a toolkit with you today. Let's just go into a little bit of a story behind this. What gives me the right to sit here and talk to you about sleep? So apart from studying it and spending 25 years going into all these different environments, talking about sleep and corporate environments and TV and radio, and 10 years in psychiatry, and writing books, why have I become known as one of the UK's leading sleep experts on this whole subject? Well, 20 odd years ago, I noticed that there was really the need to talk about sleep. Everything started ramping up because of technology and demand and the speed of life, and constantly being wedded to our electronic devices and our inboxes and finding it difficult to stop. And our energy started being sent more and more up and up and up and up and out of the body. So we started becoming more and more dissociated safely in the body in order to sleep. So the demand for my work, and then in the last days, of course, everything has changed, which is why even though many people are saying, you know, that they have time to slow down, actually I'm finding that I'm busier than ever before. Now, I know that some of you are raising your hands and you want to ask questions, and I don't know how to help you with this, because you really need to go into your chat box, you know, and I don't know if that's something Lisa can help with, to urge people to put their answers into their questions into the chat box, because I'm getting that a lot of you want to ask me questions, but I'm not seeing your questions in the chat box. So I'm going to keep going for now. Okay, so everything has speeded up and it's impacted on our nervous system. How? Let me tell you a little bit about the nervous system. There are two bits to the nervous system that I want you to consider and think about. So the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, it controls things like our breathing and our heart rate and our body temperature and our appetite. And it oscillates between two arms, so two bits to the autonomic nervous system. And one of these is about fight or flight, sympathetic nervous system, adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol, being constantly wedded to our devices and constant hits from our phone, and dopamine. Okay, somebody's saying the chat box is disabled. So Lisa, I'm going to leave that with you. Poor Lisa, you're doing brilliantly, but somehow we need to switch on that chat box. Okay, sympathetic nervous system. We feel afraid, we feel anxious, we feel worried, we start hoarding toilet paper. Sorry, we're not going to go down that conversation, but this is where we feel, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. And then there's another part of the nervous system, which is the parasympathetic: rest, repair, recovery, digestion, sexual function, immune function, deep sleep, not just sleeping, but deep sleep, deep sleep. So at the moment, we need to do whatever it takes to recalibrate, to reset, to urge ourselves to live more in the parasympathetic nervous system, to get into the parasympathetic nervous system. Rest, repair, recovery, digestion, sexual function, and deep sleep. And when we do so, when we do this, what happens is that we sleep well. And we sleep deeply so that we wake up in the morning feeling energized and feeling resilient and hopeful and grounded and safe in the body. So years ago, that actress, what was her name? Gwyneth Paltrow coined this word, clean sleep, she called it. Clean sleep. But for the last 20 odd years, I have to say, I'm not wanting to sound competitive or bitter, but even before that, I was using the word sattvic. In Hindi, there's a word called sattvic, and sattvic means pure sleep. So it's not just about sleeping at the moment. You know, we're designed to spend a third of our lives sleeping. Designed to spend a third of our lives sleeping, but it's not just about getting 7 or 8 hours of sleep. It's about getting the right type of sleep, where we sleep deeply and it's healing, and we wake up in the morning with the energy and the resilience to face life. So, absolutely, and joyful. Can we believe that even in these times, you know, if we sleep well, if we're making the right choices, now that we have the opportunity to work from home, to find the own rhythm of our energy with our families, if we're sharing our space with our families, but we have this amazing golden opportunity to find our rhythm and to get back in touch with the natural innate rhythm of our physiology, because for over 2 decades now we've been out of touch with our own natural rhythm, and because of that we've got so out of balance that we've ended up living in survival mode. Now, how have you been sleeping lately? How have you been sleeping lately? So there are many ways of classifying our relationship with sleep. And in my work, I keep it really simple. You know, we call this sleep chronotypes, but I keep it really simple. So at one end of the scale, you have the martini sleeper. And the martini sleeper can sleep anytime, any place, anywhere. And they don't actually know why I have a job. And I had a client yesterday who said to me, do we really need to be talking about sleep at the moment? And I said to her, actually, are you a good sleeper? And she said, yeah, most of the time. I mean, recently I haven't really been sleeping that well, but it's normalizing now. But sometimes martini sleepers don't understand why a sensitive sleeper might not be sleeping so well. A sensitive sleeper needs things to be just right before they can sleep. They feel anxious. They need their side of the bed. They're particularly conscious of sights, sounds, smells. They're the people who shouldn't be constantly watching news feeds and social media and watching every single clip and video that's being sent to them by their friends. That's doom and gloom. Sensitive sleepers cannot sleep if they don't feel safe. Your martini sleeper is more likely to go to bed and sleep on a problem. And they're going to say, do you know what, I just need to go to bed and I'll feel better in the morning. Your sensitive sleeper will say, how can you possibly sleep when this is going on, when we're feeling like this? I'm just keeping an eye on the time because I'm just aware that I really want to give you lots of exercises, but I think it's important that we understand our unique relationship with sleep, that we understand our unique with sleep. Now, can I just pause at this moment, because somebody is saying to all panelists, they very usefully have said, please click the X next to chat disabled. So if you find chat and click the X next to it where it says chat disabled and type your message in, that will work. So because I feel a bit lonely and I want to hear from you all, you know, so I really want to get your questions. So you have your martini, returning to this, martini sleeper, sensitive sleeper, And this, a lot of people are saying they're finding this challenging, you know, if they're now at home, sharing their space constantly with their other half, with their partner, and it's having an impact on their sleep, and sharing their sleep space with somebody else at the moment, particularly if their other half is a martini sleeper. And I think this is a time where we lovingly negotiate conversations in our relationships, where we can, you know, explain to our other half, actually, you know, I'm really a sensitive sleeper, so do you mind if we don't watch the news before we go to bed? Do you mind not being on your phone in bed because it doesn't help me? You know, do you mind not doing X, Y, or Z because it just doesn't help my sleep, because I am a sensitive sleeper? So when we can understand our unique relationship with sleep, then we can lovingly negotiate with our other halves how we navigate this really sensitive and tender times, that we give ourselves the fighting chance of getting the sleep that we really need at the moment. Because if we don't, these are the sorts of problems we might run into with our sleep. So at the moment, you know, these sleep problems have always been around, but at the moment, with everything going on with this lockdown situation and with the weeks building up to it, people who were even martini sleepers started becoming more sensitive sleepers. So your sleep type can change. More people are becoming sensitive at the moment. But I have become, by the way, more like a martini sleeper. I sleep much, much better these days by applying my own techniques. But the most common sleep problems at the moment are difficulty getting to sleep, sleep initiation, difficulty staying asleep, so waking in the early hours at some point between 2 and 4 in the morning, and then just not being able to get back to sleep. And then there's a lot of dreaming going on at the moment. People are processing, you know, when we dream, we process a lot of information. We make sense of everything that's happening in our waking hours, all the fear, all the anxiety that can fall into your dream state. So some of us might be finding that we're actually dreaming more at the moment, and that those dreams, you can wake up feeling like you haven't slept at all, more tired. Some people are oversleeping. Now the martini sleeper is more likely to oversleep, hypersomnia. And this is something where, you know, if you're homeschooling at the moment, like I am, and like you have a teenager, you want to help them to get into good habits. And we need to get into good habits where, you know, we're not Netflix and catch up TV binging and going to bed really late and waking up really late. Because that sleep before midnight, the 90 minutes before midnight, nature has given us this remarkable thing whereby the 90 minutes before midnight is particularly healing. It hits every energy system in the body. And nature has designed us to get this, so that if we're woken in the night by a saber-toothed tiger or a predator of some sort, you know, the chances are we will have had that hit before midnight. That hit before midnight. So it repairs the brain, reorders the brain. It calms the stress nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol levels start to normalize. Wow, really importantly at the moment, that 90-minute hit before midnight is really important for rebooting the immune system. So you really want to make sure that you're getting that sleep before midnight. So oversleeping, going to bed too late and waking up late is really, really not a good strategy at the moment. So really avoid that one if you can. Then we have parasomnias, teeth grinding, restless legs, sleepwalking, sleep talking, disturbing dreams, nightmares, night terrors, bruxism. And if you want more on this, if you've signed up for my blog, you'll see that I talk about a lot of this kind of stuff on my blogs. One of the most recent ones, I talked about bruxism. And again, how frustrating. We've got people raising their hands to ask questions. I did tell you it might be a little bit clunky, this session. You know, I'm going to ask you, if you have questions, to email me if you're not able to ask them now. Because I feel a little sad that I can't take your questions, but you haven't disconnected from me. send me your questions by email. We will sort this out before the next public webinar, which is going to be in the next week to 2 weeks. We're going to have another one. And the only reason I'm saying weeks to 2 weeks is because my days are getting very booked up with webinars for my clients. I've got a question from somebody. Sorry. Helen, whatever you're doing, you've worked out how to use the chat box. What is orthosomnia? Lovely question. Orthosomnia is using our lovely devices. I love my Fitbit. It's telling me I've only done 1,326 steps today. So I've got to do a bit of walking after this. Orthosomnia is the inability to sleep, which is being created by the anxiety and fear and worry that is created because of measurements. So we measure our sleep, you wake up in the morning, you go, right, okay, what did my Fitbit tell me about my sleep? It told me that I only got so much deep sleep, I only got so much this sleep, so much shallow sleep. And actually, it's inaccurate. So over measurement of sleep, if you're a perfectionist, if you are a sensitive sleeper, if you grind your teeth at night, then you are a sensitive human being. Do not measure your sleep during this tender time that we're having. I don't know why I keep using the word tender. I do know why I'm using the word tender. I'm using the word tender because our nervous systems are particularly sensitive at the moment. Helen, I'm hoping I've answered your question. But orthosomnia is a clinical term for insomnia that has recently been added to the DSM manual, which is, you know, where all the psychiatric and medical problems are put into that manual, and it's now a new form of sleep disorder. The only way to accurately measure what is going on with your sleep is to pay a lot of money and go to a sleep clinic where you have 60 electrodes stuck to your head and wired up to a polysomnograph somewhere in Harley Street, and you pay a lot of money for this, you know, four-figure sum, to tell you what's going on with your sleep. What I want you to do, and to use this period of lockdown to do, is to start becoming more attuned to what your body is telling you. So if we stop right now and ask ourselves, how am I feeling right now? How am I feeling right now? I am feeling personally engaged, alive, on fire, and mission. Sorry, I'm giving you lots of words. I mean, if you've got any words and you can tell me them, I would absolutely love to hear from you. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Okay, and a number of you are putting your hands up. And Helen, who's worked out how to use the chat box. Oh, Mel's just said hello. Hello, Mel. Finally can use it. Okay, and Jilly's working it out. So just tell me, how are you feeling right now? So here's a meditation that I want you to be doing. Somebody says, what's restless leg syndrome? What's RLS? It's restless leg syndrome. And Sunita saying, hi, hello, Sunita. So everybody's flooding in now. Gosh, people are delighted to be able to interact. Loving this, loving this. Something has happened. Anyway, we'll work it out for the next webinar. Don't you worry. Okay. I'm just going to pause and just pick up some of these questions. And we are going to go through and pick up your questions that haven't been able to answer so far. And I'm going to find a way after this session to answer them all and stick them on an email and send them out to you. Okay, just I'm hearing lots of stuff. Okay, and some of you saying that your family have got the virus and you're so worried and can't help. And I'm wondering if Carol, you're saying this to all the panelists, so I'm presuming that you don't mind that I'm going to share this with everyone, that, you know, you've got someone in your family who is really feeling, you know, you're worrying about them because they've got the virus and you feel like you can't help. I'm going to share with you a little meditation that you can do for members of the family that we're not with at the moment. So my mother lives thousands of miles away, my elderly mother who has dementia, and that is what wakes me up between 2 and 4 in the morning. And the virus isn't in Guyana yet, but just a couple of days, one of her carers has left because they're worried about getting it. And no one in Guyana has this virus yet, but you know, she has 6 carers around the clock, but I'm worried that they, you know, and I wake up and I worry and I think, what can I do? And I'm going to tell you that this meditation right now, let's do it right now, because it will help us all. So if we're worrying about somebody, who isn't with us, but we want to help them. I do this meditation for my mother, and I'm telling you something, she feels it. And then when I phone her later, she's feeling better. Okay, so if we close our eyes right now, please do this meditation with me if you can. Let's just close our eyes right now. Close our eyes right now. Okay. And I want you to think about the person that you're worrying about. And feel your feet on the ground. So really be in your body while you're doing this if you can. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your bum on the chair. Rub your palms together. Feel your body. We are physical beings, housing a soul, housing a spirit. But we're in a physical container. So let's get back into this physical container and feel our physical selves right now. And now bring to mind this person who you're worrying about. Take a deep breath in, relax your belly, relax your shoulders, relax your face. Think about this person. Summon up an image of them in your mind right now. Breathe into the image of this person. Feel something that you feel for this person. So put your left hand or your right hand on your chest, or just over your heart. Put your right hand on your belly. Soothe your belly by rubbing it with your right hand, while your left hand is on your heart. And breathe into one positive feeling that you feel for this person right now. It might be gratitude. It might be love. It might be compassion. It might be kindness. Breathe into this feeling. And even if you can't feel the feeling as such, just bring the word into your mind and imagine that word, love, entering your heart. That 4-letter word entering your heart, and imagine sending this feeling right over to that person you're thinking about. And imagine seeing them smile. Receiving this feeling that you're sending them right now. Okay, and let's come back. Let's come back to the session. Now, were you able to do that with me? Were you able to do it? Now, if you can just send some yeses or nos into the chat box, then I know the chat box is still working. Thank you. Simple as that. Simple as that. Okay. So I feel now that we're really ready to get practical with this. Okay. Somebody has asked how many hours of sleep. How many hours of sleep do we need? A night. Ideally, we're wanting about 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night. But if you can have a little nap in the afternoon, if you're not getting your 7 or 8, a little nap, 5 to 20 minutes at some point between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. 5 to 20 minutes at some point between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. Okay, not sleeping for hours. You sit there, you do a little bit of what we did just now, closing the eyes, feeling your bum on the seat, relaxing, breathing. That is the basis of a power nap. 20 minutes, 5 to 20 minutes of that will start to bring some rest into your body. Now, if you or someone you know has got the virus, is starting to feel run down and is ill, recommend for them a replacement nap of up to 40 minutes at some point between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. Somebody's saying, how can you nap for such a short time? It takes, napping is not sleeping. Lovely question. Thank you. Napping is not sleeping. Power napping is not, it's closing your eyes. If I weren't talking right now, if I were to shut up, be quiet, eyes closed, sitting, relaxed, relaxing body, relaxing feet, relaxing bum, relaxing belly, relaxing eyes. That's the basis of a power nap. That's the basis of a power nap. Your replacement nap is to be used carefully. Don't overdo this one. If you start replacement napping past 4 o'clock in the afternoon, longer than 40 minutes, you're not going to be able to sleep at night. So just use that one if you're feeling run down. And if you know someone who's got the virus, tell them to do that one. Okay, should we move it into my toolkit? If the nap is becoming deep sleep, you're not napping, you're sleeping. Put the alarm on your clock. Put your alarm on your clock, or tell your family. If you're living with people, tell them to get you up after 20 minutes. Don't get too comfy. Actually, having a little shot of caffeine before you go into your nap can stop you going in too deep. So yes, there's a shorter resting nap and there's a longer replacement nap. Thank you for pointing that out, Hina. Any other tips for getting into a nap? Yes. Stay tuned, Catherine. We're going right now. We're going to, first of all, we're going to do my 5 non-negotiables, 5 things that are going to change your relationship with sleep. And then we're going to go deeper with some other tools which will help you to access more ease so you can sleep at night, you can get to sleep, or you can get back to sleep, but it will also help you with the power napping. Okay. Somebody's saying my husband is struggling with early waking. He's very busy and stressed with his work and facing possible cuts to his pay and redundancy. We're both self-isolating as I'm not well, so he can't get out of the house. Do you have suggestions? Absolutely. Everything that I'm suggesting on this toolkit, in my session today, everything, and pay particular attention now as we go into this toolkit. And I really feel for you. That's a challenging situation. A lot of people on this will be experiencing their versions of that at the moment as well, including myself. Okay, right. 5 things. You know, let me just keep an eye on the time because we need to make sure that we've got 25 minutes left for this. So there may be, when I go into these 5 things, people might start protesting, and please bear with me, be patient. I am not going to spend a lot of time on these 5 non-negotiables. I'm going to recommend that you go and read my blogs, Google me on YouTube, go onto the Silent Night Beds website. There's loads, all of this is free resources where I talk about the 5 non-negotiables. I do not want to spend 25 minutes now talking about the 5 things that will change your relationship with your nervous system, because I want to go into the deeper work. So please forgive me if I just kind of like get quite bullish about this, because I need you to get these ones, write them down that you're going to do them, and then let's start working a bit deeper. But these 5 things, based on my extensive professional experience and my personal experience, these things will profoundly recalibrate your nervous system and start to prepare you for the deeper work, the meditations, the power naps, the breath work, the compassion and gratitude exercises. But you've got to get your nervous system a bit cleaned up, and these 5 things will do it. Eat breakfast within 30 minutes of getting up in the morning, especially if you wake up. You wake up, and as soon as you wake up, you're anxious. Now, I'm going to ask you to do a 1 breath meditation when you wake up in the mornings. 1 breath. And this is what it looks like. As soon as you wake up in the morning, if it's an alarm clock, do not open your eyes. If you can position your alarm clock before you go to bed so you can just reach over and switch it off, do not open your eyes. And then take 1 deep breath in and say, how am I feeling right now? And if that word is anxious, overwhelmed, afraid, grief-stricken, sad, worried, if it's any of those words, overwhelmed, you really need to be eating breakfast, because it means that you're in your sympathetic nervous system. So eat within half an hour of rising. This morning, I waited for an hour. I did some meditation, I did some breath work, I stretched a little bit, but I woke up feeling peaceful. I wasn't feeling afraid and anxious. And some mornings I do, being honest with you. Some mornings I am at the moment. But this morning I waited, and then I had avocado, eggs, bacon, toast, and a lovely cup of tea. So eat breakfast within half an hour of rising if your nervous system is nervous. Don't live on caffeine. Cut back on caffeine, particularly if you're struggling, busy, stressed, overwhelmed, and afraid at the moment. Cut back on caffeine. Don't use caffeine as a substitute for food. Ideally, no caffeine after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Make sure you're drinking 1.5 litres to 2 litres of water a day. Look at that. Look at me walking the talk. That's water with lemon in it, by the way. It's not builder's tea or coffee or lager. It really isn't. So make sure you're drinking 1 litre to 1.5 litres of water a day. Somebody can't see me on the camera. You need to switch your camera on. So now get to bed earlier, 3 or 4 nights a week. Remember I said that 90-minute phase before midnight is really powerful for helping to reboot the immune system, rebalance thyroid and metabolism, bring those adrenaline levels down. So make sure you're getting to bed earlier. Don't binge on Netflix. My daughter, okay. So I was talking about, okay. Thank you. Healthier boundaries with technology. Technology out of the bedroom, please, please, please. Technology out of the bedroom. Oops, somebody's saying they can't see me. Can you see me? Can you put a thumbs up, Lisa, if you can see me? Yeah, okay. So some people can't see me, but I'm hoping that we will work through this. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. And people are saying they can see me and hear me and see the PowerPoint. Okay. Ideally, keeping your technology out of the bedroom. Ideally, when you're sitting and watching television in the evenings, you have your phone in another room. So you're starting to calm that tender nervous system for an hour or so before you get into bed. Okay. Now I'm looking at my phone. I'm keeping an eye on the time, and we've got time to go a bit deeper. Are you all ready to go a little bit deeper? Can you let me know? Lovely. Okay. So your bedroom should feel like a sanctuary. Okay, you should walk into your bedroom, it should feel safe. Ideally, no working in bed. Okay, bedroom should sights, sounds, smells, especially for a sensitive sleeper. Stop, please, please, please. This one can make a huge difference to your sleep. Please stop checking the time during the night. Please, please don't look at the time during the night, especially those of you who are saying you're waking up in the early hours, can't get back to sleep. Before we finish the session, I'm going to show you a couple of techniques which will help you to get back to sleep. Okay, so don't check the time during the night. There's a complex science behind that. I'm not going to go into that now because I want to save time for the deep techniques. Write lists like they are going out of fashion. If you are super busy at the moment, which I am, write lists. Ideally do them before you get into bed. You know, at the end of the day, that's part of your wind down routine. Don't carry that into your sleep because you'll dream and worry more. Don't do it first thing in the morning. Do it last thing before you go to bed. Get out into nature as much as you can. Hug trees if you can. Get barefoot if you can. There is an abundance of science behind this. Biophilia, showing that our relationship with nature is never more needed than at the moment because it's going to rebalance, bolster and reboot the nervous system and the immune system. And there is very, very good research and evidence to support this. Lisa, I'm relying on you to tell me if I disappear again or if the sound goes. At the moment, use your sleep tea bags, use homeopathic remedies, use lavender, use Epsom salt baths. Use your pets if you have them. Use your pets, stroke your pets. This is medicine. You know, rather than reaching for amitriptyline, zopiclone, quetiapine, Ambien, melatonin tablets. Don't come off medication if you're on it, but don't go on it at the moment. You know, Google on the Huffington Post, Dr. Nerina, sleep tips. Dr. Nerina, the 10 things she told GPs to do before prescribing sleeping tablets. before you reach for sleeping tablets, which are highly addictive and then stop working, then use natural techniques. And on the subject of nature, because some of you, if you have to stay in because you're self-isolating, I know Rachel said that, even if you can imagine leaning up against a tree, sitting at the foot of a tree, eyes closed, hearing nature around you. I'm hoping you're doing this with me right now, all of you. Breathing in, imagining the breeze, imagining the leaves, the rustling of the leaves and the branches, imagining the view of a blue sky, imagining a lake, imagining mountains, imagining squirrels. So even if you can imagine nature and not actually physically get out into it, this can measurably change your nervous system. And if you want to play with that one, put your Fitbit on and sit there and imagine nature for 60 seconds. For 60 seconds. And then look at the change in your heart rate variability and your heart rate. Regularly stop and get back into your body and invite ease and joy into your body. And this is where I want us to. We've got time to do this. It's brilliant. I want you all, I know there's a question here from somebody who says she's a tooth grinder and what can she do about it? Can you go onto my blog site where a couple of blogs ago I wrote specifically about bruxism and teeth grinding. So go and access that and it'll tell you what to do. But let's just do this exercise right now. I'm going to invite you to stand up wherever you are. I'm hoping your families are involved as well. Okay. Stand up with your feet about a hip width apart. Now, this is a brilliant exercise to do if you've left your body, you've dissociated, you've gone up into your head, you've numbed out, and you're not in your body anymore. You can't feel your body. All you've got is worry and anxiety and fear and overwhelm. How do you quickly and practically bring yourself back into your body? Do you want to do this with me? Say yes if you do. Then I'll know that you're with me and you can. Fabulous. I'm feeling less lonely all of a sudden. Great. Okay. Let's stand here. Feet on the ground. About hip width apart. Bring some softness into your knees. Gently, what I mean by that is gently bend your knees. Bring a little bend into your knees. And now, please don't do this in high heels. And don't do this if you've been told by a doctor or physio or lawyer not to do this. So don't do anything that's going to hurt you. Work within your limits. Right now, feet flat, splayed on the ground, hip width apart, knees slightly bent. Coming up onto the toes, dropping down. Now do this, if you've been feeling a bit unstable, do it with your eyes open. I'm going to close my eyes and then you can have a laugh if I fall over. But coming up onto toes and dropping down. Up, down. Coming up onto the toes, the ball of your feet, drop down. Feel your heels as they meet the ground. Up again, drop, up, drop. Let your upper body be loose like a rag doll. Breathe. Exhale. Sigh as you come down. Another 5 times. Okay, and now with your eyes closed, just notice, do you have more awareness of your feet? Do you have more awareness of your lower body? Are you more in your body and less in your head? And if that's your experience, can you tell me yes? Can you feel your body more? So you can open your eyes and tap into the chat box if you can feel your body. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. You know, 2 weeks ago, I did this exercise with a company and to over 300 people, and one person complained and said, a partner said they lost the will to live when I did this. But you know what? I'm doing this unashamedly now because we more than ever need to be in our bodies right now. We need to be in this body, the safe container. This is our home. This is safe. And even if you're not feeling 100% well at the moment, the best chance you can give yourself of getting better is to come into your body and not go up into your head and lose yourself. So let's just take this one step further. Somebody says they like the phrase more in your body and less in your head. So do I. I love that phrase. We've become relentlessly mental, and we need to stop the madness, and we need to come back into our body. And that's where true safety lies, in the body, in the belly, in the heart, in our gut, in 70 trillion cells. So we're going to take this to the next step. You ready to do that? Moving on from the heel drops, which drop you into your body. Tell me yes if you want to do this next step to this exercise. Okay, brilliant. So this time, standing with feet about hip width apart, knees are bent slightly, and we're going to start moving. And while we do this, let your upper body go slack. And if you want to close your eyes, you might watch me first making a fool of myself. But at some point, what I want you to do is let your eyes close. Now, my feet are hip width apart, my knees are softly bent, and my upper body is loose, and my shoulders are very, very relaxed. And I'm sighing while I'm doing this. And this technique is based on Qigong and Tai Chi. So with eyes closed, you're really bringing shaking into the body. And your upper body is so relaxed. And you might even sigh as you do this. Now, because of the time, I'm not going to do it for a full minute or 5 minutes, because I've got other exercises I want to do. But I want you to stop right now, feeling your feet on the ground. And feel if you can feel ease in your body. And can you feel that tension has somehow been shaken out of your body? And you can feel your feet on the ground more. Can you feel that? And if so, can you tell me if you can? You might even feel tingling in your body. Can you feel that? Let me know. And now, in this position where we're in our bodies right now, feeling our feet on the ground, come back to your feet. And I'm hoping your feet, like mine, are bare. This is safety. Being in our body right now, being in the body. This is safety. Right here, right now, grounded, earthed, rooted. This is safety. Lovely. People are saying tingly, grounded and tingly. Fantastic. Thank you so much for giving me the space to do that. You know, I want to give you just a little bit more before we stop. And we have the time to do that. So, you know, when you wake up in the morning, how you sleep when you get into bed is a direct function of the myriad of choices that you've made from the minute you've woken up until the time you get into bed. Every choice you make summates, lands in your nervous system and sends you either into survival or into safety. From the minute you wake up until the time you go to bed, you are taking yourself closer to deep sleep or into hypervigilance and not being able to sleep. So from the minute you wake up, you want to be thinking about the choices you're making. How many times are you going to go on this? How many times are you going to look at the news? How many times are you going to go into fear and anxiety and negative conversations and worrying conversations and catastrophizing? Or how many times are you going to just say, stop, get into my body, choose not to have another cup of coffee, go for a herbal tea, go for a walk, hug someone, or imagine you're hugging? What choices are you going to make as you go through your day? And I want to finish this session with a couple of techniques, which is so powerful, so powerful, they will profoundly make a difference to your sleep. So I want you to not only do these techniques for your sleep, but do them as you go through your day as well. As you go through your day. So exercise number one is based on the huge amount of science from psychoneuroimmunology, mind-body medicine, looking at the profound impact of feeling grateful, compassionate, kind, and you can measure this in a laboratory, the physiological effects of feeling grateful, compassionate, kind. And it brings a great deal of ease into the body and settledness and safeness into the body so you can sleep deeply. So how do you do this? Let's do this exercise right now. And we're going to do this one as a 30-second exercise. 30 seconds. I'm keeping the time. I'm not checking my social media feed. I've got the stopwatch on here. So I want you to close your eyes. I'll keep the time. And for 30 seconds, a variation of the exercise we did earlier. But for 30 seconds, I want you to think about what's happened in your day so far, from the time you woke up until now. What has happened that you feel grateful for? And who are you grateful for? And just bring them to mind. Starting now, can you think about what are you grateful for that's happened in your day so far? And who are you grateful for? Can you feel that gratitude? And breathe into that feeling of gratitude. And stop. Now, did you manage to do that? Did you manage to find a few things? It was only 30 seconds. Lovely, 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 lovely. So a lot of you are saying yes. Thank you. Fantastic. Now, that exercise is a very, very powerful way of either putting yourself to sleep or going back to sleep. So if you wake up between 2 and 4 in the morning and you can't get to sleep, what you do is, if you have to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. That's normal. Go to the bathroom and then come back, and you haven't looked at the time, and you haven't looked at your phone, and you haven't checked the Guardian app to look at the news. You bring your attention to that exercise. Breathe. You can put your left hand there, your right on your heart, your right hand on your belly, and breathe into a feeling of gratitude. And it might be you think about someone, or you might think about things, or you think about nature, whatever you choose to think about. I'm going to give you one more exercise and then we have to stop. By the way, when I was thinking gratitude, I was thinking about you. Thank you all for staying on this call. So my second exercise, a little bit of silliness, but it's very profound silliness. I'm going to repeat some words, and then you use them either to get you to sleep. Thank you, Mel was thinking about me. Either use these words to get you to sleep or to get yourself back to sleep, okay, if you wake up during the night. Okay, so let's close our eyes and just repeat the words that I say. You can either say them out loud or you can say it silently to yourself. Just follow my words and repeat these words. I love my left foot. I love my left big toe. I love my left little toe. I love all the toes of my left foot. I love my right foot. And that's how it goes. You literally kind of bore yourself to sleep. Now, if you do that exercise, you will lose your train of thought with that. And as soon as that happens, as soon as it becomes nonsensical, you go back to the starting point. I love my left foot. You can start with your right foot if you like, but you start with your feet, not with your head, because our heads are too overactive when we wake up during the night, or if we're having difficulty getting to sleep. So that's a lovely little meditation that you use to put yourself to sleep or to take you into a power nap. Both of these exercises can be used for your power nap. Okay, I'm aware that we definitely have run out of time. I'm really hoping that this has been helpful for you, and apologies for the technical glitches. We're going to smooth them out. Thank you for bearing with me. We will send you a recording. I don't know if it's going to have to come to you in 2 parts, but I am sending you all from my heart, from 70 trillion cells in my body, love and immense healing and blessings. And my heartfelt wish that we all maintain, in the midst of all this challenge and difficulties, we maintain a positive frame of mind, and we spread that. You know, when you go to the supermarket, when you go for a walk, when you go wherever you go, smile at people. Let's start a different kind of contagion. And this is the movement we want to be starting. And I want to start a contagion of joy, which is not about survival and hoarding toilet paper. It's about feeling compassion and kindness and love for everyone around us, because we're all in this together. Never have we been more unified than we are now. And that's pretty profound, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to stop. Much love to you all. Sleep well, rest well tonight, and stay in touch. There will be more. I'm going to be very shortly, week to 2 weeks, launching some more webinars where I will ask people to pay what they can afford, and it might be nothing at the moment. It might be £10, it might be £20, whatever. But if you can't, we'll also understand that. But please stay in touch and stay well. Thank you all so much for coming and for your encouragement during the session. Thank you. Stay well. I will